A long time ago, I learned about the way I learn. And when I learned about the way I learned, I always felt, I don't know, maybe a little embarrassed or just a little out there. But what I recognize is that I have a keen ability to be able to learn and apply what I learn. So I have an ability to be able to apply knowledge and bring it just from the cognitive into the practical, or from the cognitive into the emotional, from the cognitive into the actual. And I remember years ago, a pastor that I had who was giving me and my first husband counseling, he basically said to my husband at the time, like, literally, you're taking that same damaged you into every conversation, every scenario, and in this relationship with Vonda. And I remember like him having this quizzical look. And I remember thinking, I thought this guy was smart. I thought this guy was intelligent. And he doesn't seem to understand that he is still this damaged little, 7-year-old, but just acting it out in a damn, 38-year-old body or whatever. And I've been doing so much of my own healing work and research and, you know, data collection at the same time so that I can really do a good job in helping people understand my recovery and understand what these narcissist abusive relationships look like so that people will be able to not only protect themselves, but, be able to see it coming and then use that as information for their own healing. So I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about, how narcissists are like big kids in grown-up bodies, or little kids in grown-up bodies. And it just brought back just so many memories of things that happened to me when I was married to both of my husbands. And when I think about how many times I looked into their face and I could tell that they were 7 years old. And I was like, oh my God, like this is a little tiny child. And you could really, really see it once you know and once you pay attention. Well, I started doing research about psychology and child abuse and understanding psychiatry and emotions and all of that stuff around the age of 9 or 10, because my mom was extremely abusive. Not only was she just literally get a belt and beat the shit out of me with it, she would yell and curse. She would give my stuff away. She would embarrass me. I would be sick and she wouldn't even give me an aspirin. Like all kinds of horrible things. And I knew that those things was going to have an impact on me. So I decided early on that I was going to get all that shit figured out so that I would get myself figured out and I would know it wasn't nothing wrong with me. So I started going to the library, researching, and I was like, okay, well, this is called child abuse, what she's doing. And this is a result of something that's wrong with her. This doesn't have nothing to do with me. Because it literally started when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I would get smacked and hit for having a so-called attitude. What is an attitude? What are you talking about? A way of being? You can't read my mind. You don't know what I'm thinking. Like, you literally don't. So that started for me at such a young age that I had like foreknowledge, or, the ancestors or somebody deep down told me, listen here, Vonda, you need to get some shit figured out. And you need to make sure that you're going to be okay because this is whacked out. And all of the TV shows, all of the books, all of the movies that highlighted child abuse and talked about it, I would mention it to somebody in my family or whatever, and they would act like, yeah, so. And I decided at that time, no, this is not normal, and I'm not going to act like it's normal. I'm not going to act like it's fine. Whenever somebody is coming to harm me, I will protect myself. And when I tell you I got in more fights as a little kid with people in my own damn family than I did with strangers, don't make no sense. As I got older, I was ready for strangers. Like literally, I remember being out 11, 12 o'clock at night and old, dirty ass men saying shit to me and me being like ready to run or evade or do whatever so I could stay safe. Why was I out 11, 12 o'clock at night? Because my mom did not give a shit. She was with her husband or her boyfriend or whatever, her husband at the time, and wasn't worried about me. She wasn't worried about me. And I thank, myself all the time that I had the wits and the wherewithal to keep myself as safe as I did. Now, yeah, did I get hurt a couple times? Absolutely. Did things happen to me? Yup. I was telling my daughter about how a guy stole my chains one time in 1988. I had, I used to always work, so I always had, things that I paid for myself. And I had a guy snatch my chains. And I chased him. I chased his ass down Broad Street. I chased him all the way to Diamond Street. And the campus police saw me, everything. And the guy must have dropped it in some kind of spot because we went back and we couldn't find him. And they were like, you chased him? What if he had this? What if? I was like, I ain't give a shit. He took my shit. And you ain't going to just do anything to me and I'm just not going to be no victim. And that's how I've always been. When I was bused to a white segregated school that they desegregated in 1979. And I used to fight those white kids at that school. You ain't going to spit on me and I not try to beat your ass. You're not going to push me and I don't turn around and push you back or try to kick you in your little teeny tiny penis. No way. No way. Here I am wearing 2 pair of shorts underneath my clothes because boys are trying to pull my pants off, trying to pull my clothes off, and nobody is doing anything. So, okay, well, I'm going to take care of myself. And I started figuring out the ways to stay safe. And by the end of that school year, I told my mom, because I was always getting suspended. She would never come up to the school. I was like, I'm not going to let people beat me up. I'm not going to let people call me names. I'm not going to let people push me. I'm not going to let it happen. I do not entertain physical violence. If you fucking touch me, I will beat your ass. Period. End of story. Because that's what my instincts would tell me to do. Because you don't have a right to hurt and harm me. But what happens in narcissistic abuse relationships is nobody has fought back that narcissist. Nobody has given them any sort of consequences. Nobody's given them any repercussions. I guarantee after that guy stole my chain, and he wasn't no crackhead, he was just a thief. And I guarantee you he thought about that shit the next time. He was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to fuck around because this college girl chased my ass. And I wasn't looking like Flojo in Flojo shape at the time. I probably was looking like my 55-year-old body right now. Because I was doing all the things in college, all the drinking, and I was smoking my cigarettes, my Slims, Virginia Slim, Lights, whatevers, eating cheesesteaks. So it wasn't like I was, Slim Goody on the mic. But I chased his ass down, caught him, and I was screaming and yank. I was holding him by his shirt. I was not going to let him go. Back then, I did not have long nails. My nails were right at my fingertips. I could grip up anything. I had enough nails, but I was holding on to him tight. Get me my shit. I was screaming. Get me my shit. I wasn't going to let him go. And at one point, I saw that little tiny boy look in his eyes. But I didn't care. I was like, give me my shit. You going to give me my shit. And he didn't, and I didn't get it back. But that didn't stop me from wearing jewelry. It didn't stop me from wearing gold chains. It didn't stop me. And it didn't stop me from fighting for myself. Because at the end of the day, I'm a fighter and a lover. When you love yourself, you fight for yourself. When you love yourself, you fight for yourself. Period. End of story. And that means you don't allow yourself to be in fucked up relationships with fucked up people. When you love yourself, you fight for yourself. And that means you're not going to let yourself be treated fucked up. And I didn't let myself be treated fucked up indefinitely by anyone. Not by my mother, not by my grandfather, not by my stepfather, not by anybody in my family was not going to treat me fucked up for a long term, because I'm going to protect myself. And then I set up boundaries. I remember I kept on trying to help my family know, like, look here, this is why I don't come around, because you're fucked up, blah, 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 blah. And I have boundaries. Soon as this happens, I'm out. Soon as this gets said, I'm out. Soon as this my boundaries are for me. Y'all can do what you want, but this is what I'm going to do. And the family reunion was the last absolute straw. My family, a bunch of 60, 50, 70-year-old people that planned a family reunion, let a child molester come to the family reunion and didn't tell anybody. That was it for me. I won't ever fuck with y'all again. Y'all have no morals, no ethics, and no concern for other people, no empathy, no compassion. And now looking back, the level of trigger that I was at the time, right? Thinking about it, it would have to be because I was triggered, would definitely have been part of it. But just the fact that these people would allow a child assaulter to come to a family reunion with a bunch of kids and children and not tell anybody and not warn anybody. Yeah, it's okay. I was the cops for like the 7 hours I was there or whatever it was. And it was pretty stressful. And it was pretty bad, but it let me know, yeah, I can't mess around with these people, because that means my family is a bunch of enablers for a bunch of bad behavior. And it wasn't just the bad behavior that they allow from my mom or, like that when I was a kid. This is something that is part of the family heritage, and I don't want no parts of that. And me and my daughter is out, and we don't talk and we don't fuck with none of them. Maybe she might, message her cousins or something now and then, because they all in their 20s or whatever. But I won't fuck with no grown-up that was a grown-up at that time. They would have to come to me and apologize, and they would have to tell me, the work that they doing on themselves. But other than that, I won't, because that's my own boundaries. And I will not be a person that enables narcissistic abuse. I will not be a person that enables narcissists to do bad things, not to me or to other people in my presence. And so for me, if that means that I have to have a limited amount of people in my circle, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with that because I don't want to, number one, have to be in fear that that person is going to be harming other people. And I don't want to have to be hyper vigilant and on guard myself in case I have to fuck somebody up. And I don't like that posture. Like, I don't like to be in my self-defense a posture. I like to be self-aware. Yep. I like to be, surrounding aware. But I don't want to have to be ready to square up, because I had to do that too many times in too many different relationships. The physical square up and the verbal square up. And I don't do that anymore. Once I have seen who a person is because they told me or showed me, I'm out. I ain't giving you no explanation. I ain't giving you shit. I'm out. Because at the end of the day, you know what you're doing. Now, I was listening to one of the experts in narcissistic abuse, and they were talking about how, maybe some narcissists, they don't have that language or the term narcissist, so they don't know. But they damn sure know they harming people. They damn sure know you ask them to do the same shit over and over and they ain't do it. They damn sure know you text them and they ain't text you back. They damn sure know they love bombing you every day with this, good morning, sweetheart. Hey, babe, how you doing? They know it. They know that they told you they was going to show up somewhere and they didn't come. They know they told you they was going to send you something and didn't do it. They know that they know. And some of them, like, for the most part, have no self-awareness from the standpoint of they want to change or be better. They don't give a shit. And it's hard for people that are not like that to understand. It's hard, especially for empaths and people that are like that, to be like, what the hell? Guess what? You don't have to try to understand, right? What is important is to acknowledge. Acknowledge what you see. Acknowledge what you're experiencing. Acknowledge what you hear. Acknowledge the pain. Acknowledge the harm. Acknowledge the way you feel. You feel like what? You talking in circles. You feel like you're being gaslit because you are being gaslit. You feel like somebody's trying to make you, feel stupid. That somebody's trying to make you feel like you don't matter. All of these things are true. And you get to act on them. You get to act on them. As soon as you learn something, listen, act on that knowledge. I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was asking them some questions that I didn't know what their level of access to certain information had been, right? And I felt so weird, like literally saying, hey, have you ever heard of this? Hey, have you ever heard of that? And it wasn't anything bad or whatever. It was like, some psychological terms and some things that, help with understanding abuse or whatever. And they were like, yeah, I heard the terms, but, they hadn't really been that familiar. So I just basically gave a little explanation. And it made me think, yeah, I'm so glad that I have the ability to learn and then apply that knowledge, because I've been applying concepts that I've learned for a long time, little by little, and I'm doing it now. And I'm sharing what I'm doing with you out here because I want to empower you towards your self-healing. I want to empower you towards your self-prioritization. I want to empower you towards your own well-being. And that takes acknowledgement of your past and your pain. And it also takes acceptance, radical acceptance, and realizing that it's nothing you could do about what already happened. Just accept that it happened and that it was fucked up. And that anybody who harmed you, they are a horrible person. It doesn't matter that they got harmed as a child. I got harmed as a child over and over and over. Did I harm anybody like that? No. I might have made other mistakes, but just because my mom beat the shit out of me does not mean that I had to beat the shit out of my daughter. It does not mean that. It would be an excuse. And so for all the narcs out here that's narking, because I had a bad childhood, because this happened, because that happened, guess what? That's an excuse. It's an excuse. For you to harm other people, it's an excuse. And the thing is, right, our society has let narcissists get away with harming other people, and we've made excuses. But that's our history of colonization. Because colonization ain't nothing but a narc enterprise. And then those of us who get to advantage from colonization, capitalism, and patriarchy, we adopt these traits as being okay and suitable because nobody's coming against us. The emperor don't have no clothes because nobody is allowed to tell him. Period. End of story. And that's what it's like being a narc. You're naked and everybody knows it but you. And the people who see you're naked, they want to help you. They want to put clothes on you because they can see beyond the nakedness. They can see beyond the rage. They can see beyond, the makeup, the lashes and all. They can see beyond all that. And they can see you are a hurt, small person that feels so insignificant and tiny. That's why you have to try to control everyone and everything. And it's my hope that if you are a person that has these toxic traits of a narcissist, has these abusive traits, that you really do some introspection and that you really, really try to integrate some self-healing techniques. Some self-healing techniques. Because I'm not going to try to tell people go to therapy and go do this and do that. You got to work on some self-healing techniques. You have to learn how to soothe your inner child, how to go back and reparent your inner child. You got to talk to yourself. You have to journal. You got to meditate. You have to ground. You have to learn how to breathe. And you definitely need some support. I know that there are a lot of therapists that will not work with narcissists unless they are really extremely self-aware. They're like, oh no, hell no. And they definitely won't see narcissists in group therapy, and they won't see narcissists in family or couple therapy. So be self-aware, but look for a therapist if you have health insurance. But start getting that self-awareness. If every relationship you in, you got to control it, and then people break up with you or they leave and you don't know why, you know why. You know why deep down. But start looking up narcissistic personality disorder. Do some Googling. Do some YouTubing. And get your shit figured out. And for those of you like me who are people who like to learn, if you are the person that gets your knowledge and then you start applying it to your life, and then you start noticing, people start dropping away. People start dropping away because you are accelerating. You are ascending. You're moving on and moving up and moving forward. And most people are staying the damn same. They staying the same because desire is the root of all radical change. Desire is the root. And a lot of people don't have the desire because they are distracted. A lot of people don't have the desire because they distrust everyone. A lot of people don't have the desire because they have had a lot of detrimental things happen, right? For trying to bring about a change, for trying to speak up for themselves or whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to be determined. At the end of the day, you have to be persistent. At the end of the day, you have to be consistent if you want to see anything new and change. And if you want to recover and not ever again get into these relationships, you have to heal the part of you that doesn't take care of you. You have to heal the part of you that doesn't listen to you. You have to heal the part of you that doesn't trust you. You got to get your knowledge, love, and trust of self. Knowledge, love, and trust of self. That's the thing that's going to help you navigate triggers. It's going to help you to self-heal, and it's going to help you to avoid, overcome, survive, and thrive through narcissistic abuse. Thanks so much for joining me on another episode of Managing My Own Radical Change, and I look forward to seeing y'all next time.